Welcome to the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast, transforming the way people think and work so their organizations can thrive. Well, hi everyone, and welcome to our podcast. I'm Ed Kless, and with me today is Anna Liebel. Anna is a leadership and team development consultant with a global citizen with a Ukrainian heart and a tech project manager dedicated to people growth. With an education from 3 European countries, 6+ years of project management experience within various industries, and a focus on leading across cross-functional and international teams, Anna brings a new perspective to the challenges that modern leaders are occupied with. Welcome to the Sage Advice Podcast, Anna Liebel.
Thank you so much, Ed. It's a pleasure to be here.
So first off, Anna, why do you do what you do?
Because I can't not do what I do. It's a passion of mine to help people become the better versions of themselves, and it happens very naturally to me. And as I said, I can't not do it because it just happens, and people come to me and ask for pieces of advice. So I decided to make that my full-time job instead of trying to fit in my passion in between job and other commitments of mine.
And before we started recording, you have this model that you keep in your mind of the 3 dimensions of leadership. So talk a little bit about that, expand on that.
So since I work with leaders, I usually talk about in which constellations you're leading people. And the 3 dimensions in my head are one-to-many. So when you as a leader are guiding a group of people or a team, one-to-one, so that how you build individual relationships with people whom you're guiding, and then the dimension of one, and that is leading yourself. And I think this dimension of one is often missed by people when they work on their leadership skills, on their development, and also the organizations are missing that part when they help their leaders become better at what they do.
Yeah, it's interesting. In the U.S., I think this is pretty much international. There's always that announcement on the plane, you need to secure your own mask before helping others. And I always think about that from a leadership perspective. You first have to make sure that you're okay before you can help other people. So I think, is that kind of what you're saying there?
Exactly. That's one of the dimensions of that, or one of the parts, taking care of yourself and knowing what your needs are so that you can fulfill them or meet them so that you can be better at meeting the needs of the others. Because when we are not taking care of ourselves, we're not putting that oxygen mask on ourselves. We are becoming self-focused, you say, right, in the US?
Yep.
And you can't really take care of the others and help the others become the better, more productive, more efficient in their work. You just reflect everything and take it personal and so on. So this is very important to really fill your cup first and take care of your own mental and physical health, because then you have the resource to give to the other people in a sustainable long-term way.
And let's turn our attention a little bit now to the one-on-one. So what is some of the basic advice that you give when you're trying to work with somebody from a leadership perspective one-on-one?
So I usually teach my clients to be curious. And curiosity is not discussed often in the leadership in the corporate environment, but I think this is so crucial for being good at listening for people, listening to the others and actually understanding and really seeking the understanding instead of putting our perspective into what we hear. So in leading people one-to-one, I usually challenge people to ask explorative questions and actually observe yourself when you're asking questions so that you reflect on whether your questions are leading to the answer you want to hear, or they are asked so that you can actually get the answer to understand the person better, to get their perspective. And you don't have to agree with that. You don't have to be on board with and support what they believe in or what they're doing. But the important part is to make sure that you get as close to be on the same level with the understanding as possible.
Yes, that was one of Peter Drucker's great messages too. He's replace advice with curiosity as a management consultant. And lastly, turning attention to the group, what are the things that you tend to focus on when with the leader as their relationship to the group?
I think what we've had a lot of discussions about with the leaders I work with recently, this year in particular, is how to manage how to balance. balance between the focus on the deliveries versus the personal needs of people on your team, and also how to balance the attention that you give to non-performers, let's say, versus to those who are performing well, or people who are maybe somehow disruptive for the team environment and team energy, versus to people who are functioning well together. And this is the tough parts in the leadership, I think, how to balance all these needs and all these situations in the team. And I think what we unfortunately see quite often is that leaders are focusing a bit too much on the people who are performing less or interacting in a bit worse way, a bit more disruptive for the team spirit. And basically that is unfair towards the people who are performing well and who are collaborating in a good way. So this is something that I usually investigate a lot with my clients, whether there are those people who are getting more attention because of their negative consequences or the consequences of their work on the team. So I'm focusing, or I'm teaching people to help them handle those people while still having enough focus on the well-performing part of the team, so that they actually feel fairly treated. They also get their needs met by the leader.
Yeah, again, we're concentrating more on seeking opportunities rather than fixing problems, which I think
Exactly.
is an important point. Anna, we have an exit question that we ask all of our guests on the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast, and that is, who is a hero of yours, and why are they a hero?
I was a bit shocked when you asked this question in the pre-chat. And to be honest, I have a whole team of heroes, and it's very depending on from which point we're looking at the hero part, right? So I have my mom as my hero because she has shown me how you can be dedicated to the work of your life and be an empathetic person, very passionate about what you do and committed to what you do. I've had amazing managers of mine who are my leaders, who have taught me a lot through their actions, not only from telling me what to do and how to do, but actually showing in life how you can be a good leader and a good human being. I have coaches, my previous coaches were some authors who are amazing heroes. But I also would like to mention myself as my own hero, because I feel like I thrive for being a better person every day. And I know I'm not perfect in any shape or form. And that does not stop me. And I want to be a hero for myself, because that means that I keep working on myself. And I hope to keep doing it until the last day of mine on this earth.
And lastly, Anna, how can somebody contact you?
So I'm playing mostly on LinkedIn. So Anna Liebel, you can find me there. And also just this week, I've launched my podcast, Genius Leadership Overcoming Everything podcast. And I would be more than happy to have you over listening and then letting me know what you think about the show.
All right, outstanding. And in the show notes, there is also a link to the podcast as well as an offer that Anna has put together for us. So Anna Liebel, thanks so much for being a guest on the Sage Advice Podcast.
Thank you so much, Ed.
Review and subscribe by searching your podcast player of choice for Sage Thought Leadership Podcast.